Okay, turn on the light here. Huh? What? The light.
All right, we're recording.
Mix the shade on my face. All right, guys. So my name is Katrell Yasharella. This is my daughter, Leah. Go ahead, sis, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sister Pascazi.
Awesome. And so we are going to do a Bible study today. We are representing King Ministries, and this is going to be a women's Bible study. This is our first time meeting you, your first time meeting us. And our ministry name is going to be Mothers Raising Daughters of Zion. So we're going to be focusing on women topics, raising daughters, raising children, and how to just be a woman and navigate the world, focusing on current events and different things going on and relating that to the Bible. So that is basically our goal here. And let's get started. So today we're going to be doing a Bible talk, I like to call it. And it's going to be focused on a video that I came across the other day while I was on the internet. So it's the name of this lesson is Recognizing the Characteristics of People in Darkness as Children of Light. And so what I really want us to focus on is what are the characteristics of people when they're lost in sin? What does that look like? So we're gonna read Bible verses about it, and then we're gonna really focus. The video is gonna help us focus on recognize it, because you can read the words, but can you recognize it when it's in front of your face? Can you recognize the characteristics when they're in front of your face? So for the first Bible verse, we're gonna go to 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5. Hold on, let everyone. Okay. You ready, sis?
Almost.
Okay. All right, perfect. So Leah's going to read for me. Go ahead, Leah. 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5.
2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5. Know this also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. This known also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boisterous, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fears, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than
We can hear you.
Pleasure more than lovers of God, and despisers of those that are good. So these are some of the characteristics of people that are going to be lost in darkness, especially in the last days. It says we're going to see more of it in the last days. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, can you go back? Because it looks like you are on mute.
Oh, you didn't hear? Which part did you not hear?
When she was reading and then it cut off, it was on mute.
Okay, read again. So we're going to read 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5.
This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boisterous, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power therefore.
But denying the power thereof.
From such turn away.
Right. Okay, so like I said, we see here that people in the last days will have a mindset that will hinder them from following the Most High. They'll be lovers of self, they'll be boasters, blasphemers, without natural affection, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, despisers of those that are good. So these are some of the characteristics that are going to be prevalent in people that are lost in darkness, especially in the last days. And so we're going to go through this lesson looking at this video and having examples of these things. And as we go through the videos, I want y'all to like keep that in mind and try to think of what characteristics this person is showing as we go through this video. So let's start. Let's go to the first part of the video. We're gonna start. Yeah. We're gonna go into a little bit. You're gonna see a little bit about this person. So let me tell you who this is. This is Janelle Monáe. I used to be a big fan of her. When I tell you I used to watch her, I used to listen to her music. I probably got phones where her music downloaded right now. Like I was a really big fan, and now my husband's always on me about listening to worldly music, you know that, sis. And I had a problem with it. I used to argue with him about it. Like, and then all praises to the Most High, I realized that these people are really connected to something not godly. And this really opened my eyes to why we have to be careful what we're attaching ourselves to, because you think something is innocent and you think it's, oh no, it's not that big of a deal. And this made me realize that no, these things are a big deal. So Jay, go ahead and play that for me, please.
Yes, that's what we're in, baby.
So why did you call it the age of pleasure?
Well, you know, I've had my age of anxiety. I've had my age of depression. I've had my age of confusion, of imbalance. And, you know, just realizing that we'll never live in a world where, you know, something heavy won't be happening. You know, always problems we'll have to solve. And even in the midst of that, you have to find your joy. You have to actively find your pleasure. And in the words of Maurice White from Earth, Wind, and Fire, if there ain't no beauty, make some beauty.
First of all, I want to congratulate you on having a phenomenal body of work. And everything you just said is exactly what I felt when I was listening to the album. It's almost like the mentality is like Hakuna Matata. Like there's no need to stress over things. No need to have worries. Let's just live in an age of pleasure. How did you get there, though?
Ooh, how did I get there? I mean, I think life, you know, and I'm still, you know, still on a journey as we all are. But I think I got locked in with me, you know, and I think a lot of times we look at it, especially as artists, and things come to us.
All right, so there was a few things that she said there, right? So she's promoting her new album, and she's talking about the name of her album is The Age of Pleasure, the Season of Pleasure. That's what she's saying. She's saying, you know, this is a time where I'm just about to do me. I'm not about to worry about nothing else. And he said, how did you get there? He was like, because I listened to the album and it seems like you're in a place of just like, you know, no worries, no cares, just do whatever you want. And she was like, yeah, I just tapped into me. I just decided that I'm just going to do what I want to do. And so that is one of those one of those things. Or if we go back to 2 Timothy 3:1-5, what does that remind you of? She's already shown one characteristic for sure, right? Because she's saying, let's worry about me, but we'll wait, because you got to see where this is going to take her. So let's go to Philippians 2:21. Yes, it's in the Bible. Philippians 2:21. Are you familiar with Janelle Monáe, sis? Have you ever seen her before?
No.
You should know either. Philippians chapter 2, verse 21.
Philippians chapter 2,
Oh,
verse
yeah.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 21. For all seek their own, not the things which are Jesus Christ.
Right. So this is just going back to people will be lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, right? People are going to be seeking what they want. And she said, I just got to meet. That's what she was saying. I just got to meet. He said, how did you get here? How did you get to this place of freedom? She said, I just consider myself. She's going to go more into it. But let's look at that a little bit closer too. Let's go to Philippians 3:19, chapter 3:19.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 19. Whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things.
Okay, so we're still looking at the characteristics of people who are lost in darkness, right? It says whose God is their belly. And that means like whose God, they just what their desires are, whatever their lusts are, whatever their wants are, whatever they want. That's their God. They're not considering nothing else but what they want. And so these are the type of things that we got to be aware of. And these are the characteristics of the people that are going to be prevalent in the last days. It says whose God is their belly, whose glory is in their shame. Again, we see that the desires will control them and they will be proud and boastful in their folly. So now let's watch this, because she's really about to show us this in this next clip. Yeah.
Don't, and we look at things as though like, oh, we failed, or we should be working much harder. Our happiness is dependent on things that come to us,
Right.
good things, great things, but internally I had
All right, 1 second. So we're just pulling up the video, but again, I just want to see where she's going to go with this. She's going to start talking more about her album and what brought her to the places that she's talking about in this album. And as you hear her, you're going to hear what she's going to be trying to push on people. And it's really bad. So just bear with me a second while we get the video pulled up.
anything.
Right.
I'm going off feel. How do I feel? How is this making you feel? Yeah.
When did you get to the point where, and maybe you've always been there, where it seems like you're so free with your sexuality, and I mean, we've seen you perform, you know, with your top off. We've seen you swimming between legs. We've seen you coming out the water. It just seems like you're so free and happy. Where did you get to that point?
It's the age of pleasure, baby. You know, it's like, it's a movement. It's not just me. Like, you feel people wanting to. And I just gave myself permission. You know, I just divested in certain systems and programming and you know, it's like, why not? You know, why would I waste my earth experience scared to jump, scared to exercise my freedom? You know, why? What am I concerned about?
Mm-hmm.
And once you deal with that and you release, you know, your concerns, and you give yourself permission, it's a different world.
You never were nervous that people were going to be too judgmental?
Okay, so he said, so what made you be so free with your sexuality, with all these things? And you got to be familiar with what she promotes, right? So in one of her videos, she's like kissing all these girls. She's going between legs. She's naked. She's and she also announced that she's non-binary, so she's neither male nor female. She's all these things, right? And so they're asking her, how did you get to this point where you found freedom like this, where you could just do anything you wanted to do? And she said, you know, why not? You know, it's the season of pleasure, you know? And so that goes back again to lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. And this is where we are. She said, it's not just me. She said, it's a bunch of people like me that want to do this. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so we can read the Bible, but we also have to be able to recognize what those characteristics in people when they're saying it. Because some people will look at her and be like, what is she saying so wrong? She's just talking about being free. She's just talking about being happy. But that's because they're looking with earthly eyes, and they can't see what she's really saying and how damaging it is. Because if you don't have a standard for God, God has a standard. Like, we all have freedom, but we have to work within the frames of what God gives us and to use our freedom for godly things. Yeah. And so that is one of the things that people are being confused about, and why I want us to really look at what people are saying from a godly and biblical perspective. And if you're not, how you can get sucked in. Because if she goes on, it's just gonna sound like, oh, to an earthly person, they'll argue and say, oh, well, she sounds positive, but you got to be looking through it from another perspective. Did you have something to say, sis?
No, just like you said, like that's the love of the world. So everything that they see, that's why the Bible say, not everything that seems good is good for you. So they're promoting that bad to be good and the good to be bad. So right. That's confusion right there.
Exactly. Let's go to 2 Peter 2:19.
Second Peter.
Go ahead. 2 Peter 2.
2 Peter 2.
I'm sorry. It's 2 Peter. We're going to do 17 through 19. Go ahead.
2 Peter verse 17. These are the walls without water. Clouds that are carried with.
These are the wells without water.
These are the wells without water. Clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of the darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, who those that were clean escaped from them who live in error, while they that promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome of the same is he brought in bondage?
Right. So it says they speak with alluring, enticing words. So these people are going to speak in a way that makes you want to come to them because they're going to be telling everything you want to hear. You keep saying you can be free. That's what she's saying. You can be happy. Like you just got to let yourself go. You just got to give yourself permission. That's what she says. So why not? I don't have anyone that I have to answer to. Just give yourself permission to do whatever you want. And that's a real dangerous thing. It says that will make people want to be a part of the agenda. However, this is a path to destruction. These are wells without water. So it sounds good. It sounds like this is a place that you want to go, but Christ is telling you these are wells without water. Christ says, he's the well of water. So we got to know that this deception and this alluring spirit that they have, that's exactly what it is. It's a spirit and it's evil and it's going to lead you to destruction if you follow it. And now she's about to go even deeper. She's about to build even further on this calling, this alluring spirit. She's about to really build on that. Like, come to me, come to freedom. And so we're gonna see this even more in this next clip. 1 second, he's going to pull it up. And I really want y'all to pay attention to what she's doing and pay attention to the men around her, because it's like, these are men and you would think that they would be more powerful or more, but it's almost like she's going to take control of the room. She's going to start leading them at some point. And we're going to talk about that as well. But I'm going to let him play the video.
Clickbait or whenever you talk about something, everybody's so into your relationship, right? Like you say non-binary and people are like, well, what does that mean? Is she with this? Is she that? Does that bother you? Does that stick in you? Or is it like, go F yourselves?
You know what? No. And I'm going to.
You mean like some Palo Santo?
Yes. Give me some Palo Santo. Yes. Let's light it. Let's light it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's walk around. Let's do it. Because
All right. Come on, Charlamagne. She said walk around.
I'm vibing. We vibing.
light it up a little more.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It started to burn my thumb a little bit. I'm sorry. Let me tilt it.
You know, I'm saying this because I just want to know. I want you guys to know this.
Come on, Charlamagne. There we go.
Yeah. I want you guys to know that freedom is waiting on you. It's right there. Don't be scared. I'm going to hold your hand. I come in love. I come in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, there are things, clickbaitable things and all of that. But in this age of pleasure, we understand that not everybody is as evolved as we are. And I've had to understand that. Don't get frustrated by it. I don't know what happened in everybody's lives, or your life, or my life, or you don't know what happened in my life to make me get to the point that I'm at. So we have to just give each other grace and give ourselves grace.
Absolutely.
Give each other grace. I don't get upset. Like, again, it's what I think about me. It's what I think about me that determines my quality of life. And I know that I want to live the best earth experience that I possibly can. And with the people I love and with the people who get that and with a safe space. Mm-hmm. And my prayer and my hope is that people have safe spaces where they can, I'll say this, my level of freedom, our level of freedom will always trigger somebody who has not decided that they are ready to get free. I'll always trigger that establishment. I'll always trigger prude conservatives or people who are respectability politics.
So she said a lot. She did a lot right there, right? So first, they lit whatever that thing is that they're burning. I still don't know what that is. I think they called it like Palo Santo or something. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I don't know what that is. So they started burning that. And she started saying things like, come on, be free. Like I'm with you. I'll hold your hand. I'll walk you through it. Like she's inviting them. Huh?
She said, I come in love.
Yeah, she said, I come in love, right? She said, I come in peace. I just want you to be free. Come with me. I'll hold your hand. Like, and she's like, just follow your desires. But that is a dangerous thing to do. And let's talk about why what she's doing and what she's saying is dangerous. And we're going to talk about that spirit of just following your desires. She's saying, just be free. Just do what you want to do. So let's go to Jeremiah 17, 9 through 10. Jeremiah chapter 17, 9 through 10.
Jeremiah chapter 17, 9 through 10. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings.
Right. So the heart is wicked. This is the danger of allowing yourself certain freedoms. We have a standard given from our Creator, and we will be judged from that. So she's sitting here saying, just follow your heart. What's wrong with that? I just want people to follow their heart. Just be free. Allow themselves to do what they want. But the Bible tells you that your heart is wicked, desperately wicked, and deceitful. We've all got ourselves in situations that we thought we wanted something, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be a house, a home, to move somewhere, and then you get it and you realize this was not what you were supposed to do. But you did it off your own will instead of seeking God, and then you ended up in a place that you didn't want to be in. And that's because your heart is wicked, and unless you put your heart in submission to God, you are not going to be in a good place. Is not going to lead to anything but destruction. And so while it sounds good, like you said, she said, I'm coming in love. I'll hold your hand. I'll do all these things to make you comfortable. It's wickedness. It looks good. It sounds good. It was dressed up well, but it was wickedness. And that's why we have to not only like read the words in the Bible, but when you see these things, when you see people that are lovers of themselves, boasters, blasphemers, without natural affection, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, despisers of those that are good. She's showing us examples of that over and over again. So you can read it, but can you see it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is going to bring me to, and something else she said in there was, she said, I'll always trigger people who are homophobic or who are trans, don't identify with the trans community, or don't, basically she's saying they're going to be bothered by me because I'm so free. But that's actually not the case, because she started throwing out all these things. She said, by prudence, by conservatives, by people who haven't embraced their freedom. But you see, she threw out all these labels, like all these negative labels for people who didn't agree with her, right? She said, at first, she said maybe eventually they'll come around and agree with us or join us. But until then, she had all these negative words to throw of those people who didn't agree with their lifestyle, right? And so that's what we're running into now, because now it's not enough to just say, okay, I don't agree with it. But when you don't agree with it, if you're not willing to join them, now you're an enemy.
Yeah.
Now it's a problem. Now you're prudent. Now you're a conservative. Now you're homophobic. Now you're whatever they call LGBTQI anti that. It's like you can't just say I'm over here and I want to be set apart without being attacked for doing that. That's what she started to do with that latter part of the video. Let's go to John 15, 18 through 20. So we have to we have to be focused on knowing that our wants and our desires have to come in alignment with the Most High. That's the only way to do His will. That's the only way to stay from punishment. And that's the big thing I'm trying to get, because that's what she's going to keep pushing. And especially raising daughters, it's like I want them to understand that your heart will tell you things, but if it's not in the will of God, people will make it sound good. People will make it sound innocent. People will make it sound like love. But if it's not in the will of God, it's destruction.
Did you say John 13?
John 15, 18 through 20. And it's going to be harder to be, like you said, to be set apart. It's going to be harder. Every single day it's going to get harder. Let's read John 15, 18 through 20.
John 15, 18 through 20. Henceforth I call you, not servants, for the servant knoweth not what the Lord doeth. But I called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you.
No.
John 15. It's the real page.
It's John 15, 18 through 20. What are you reading? What is that right? What, Jay, what are you reading? Because you have it right.
If the world hates you.
Right. What is
John
that?
chapter 15, verse 8.
Okay, so what is Leah reading?
I'm on John, regular John.
John chapter 15, verse 18.
That's what I have written down, but Leah's not reading John. What are you reading? Oh, is it First John, Jay?
James version, verse 18.
I don't remember.
If the world hates you.
Right, that's what it should say. But why is this saying something else? I'm totally
No. Maybe I'll try First John, but I don't think First John has a chapter.
It's John. It's John. I'm right on.
Sis, are you at John? Okay, I'll read it because Leah is confusing me. Okay. John 15, 18. If the world hate you, know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own, but because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Did I say 50? Did I read 20? Am I supposed to read 22?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also.
Oh, I was reading 15, not 18.
Anyway.
You said 15 through 18.
Leah. Okay, so take that down so I can see myself. So I wanted to read that because toward the end of that, she was talking about how, people would be triggered that didn't want to join her, didn't want to join that agenda. And that's another thing that we're going to have to worry about in the last days, I think, is just because we're called to be a set apart people, and because we have the standards of trying to stand up for the Most High, people are going to take offense to that. Even if we're not outrightly condoning them, right? Even if we're not outrightly condemning them, rather, even if we're not saying, this is wrong, just as saying, no, we don't want to be a part of it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the challenging part that we're about to face, and that we have to be ready for and realize that these are going to be trying times with people like this and multiple people like this. Like she said, she's not the only one that feels this way. So people will attack you for not agreeing or joining in with them in worldly endeavors. Do not be intimidated by their actions. And that goes back to that characteristic that we read about in 2 Timothy, despisers of those that are good. There's going to be a lot of despisers of those that are good in the last days. That's going to be a characteristic we run into a lot. So we can't be intimidated. We got to understand that we have to stand up for the Most High and that we have to keep walking it. It's not going to be easy, but this is where we are and this is what we're going to have to do. Go ahead, sis.
Like how Christ said, the servant is not greater than the master. So if they did all that stuff to him, what about us? We have to follow his lead. So we have to expect that to happen.
Exactly.
And what I also find is so dangerous, like you say, you've been following her music and stuff like that. So and those, they are easily to influence people. Because people who watching them and they love them for what they do, they'll just be there. No matter what she's gonna say, they just feel like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go this way. She was like this and now she changed. She got her freedom. I want the same freedom too. Like she said, people who are not ready for this, we have to give each other grace. Like, you're not God. Only Jesus gave us grace. So who are you to give someone grace? What's grace for? For what?
Right.
So,
I'm so glad you brought that up. We're going to go into that. We're going to go into that too. Go ahead.
So some people who follow her, they see that like, yeah, let me think about it. I want that peace. Because they think that's peaceful freedom, but there's no freedom in that. There's not freedom in the sinful way. So that's the illusion. They just think everything is great, everything is okay, but nothing is good. They have to be like believing in God. That's where the light come. That's where the true freedom is. And Christ is the only one who give us peace. Like he say, I give you peace, which nobody on earth will give it to you. So the only peace and freedom is from the Most High God.
That's right. That's right. And I'm so glad you've seen that, because you see how much light you see how she's sounding like so much like the Bible though? You see how she's like twisting it almost? You can tell that she has a religious background.
Yeah, that's
because
the way of the devil. He say like even Satan himself, before he came to Eve, he has to bring truth and lies at the same time. So he gonna bring like little truth for them to believe, and then from that he gonna twist. Since they believe there's truth there, so they have to twist it for them to believe more, just to confuse people. But they just always come, they're like the child of light.
Right. So we're coming to the end of this. We're gonna go over a few things that you mentioned earlier, but we got one more clip I want you to see. And you see when she started burning that thing and the men, where she told the one guy, walk around with me. And you see how the men are just sort of placating to everything she says. They're not really like challenging her. And all of this is new. Like, so before, like when I used to follow her, she wasn't about all this non-binary, pansexual. She hadn't said any of that, right? So she just said this recently. So she just came out with all this recently. Like you said, that's the dangerous part, because it's like people were already fans. And then you come out and you say this, and now people are like, oh, okay, well then, yeah, maybe I like her new music. So maybe, I need to do that. And that's the dangerous part. They don't come out like that at first. It's like they come out normal, and then they just start throwing stuff out. You're like, where did this come from? But she's really going to start ordering the room around with these two men. She's really going to start taking over the room. So let's watch that for a second. Let's go to the next video clip, Jay.
All right. You got a few more after this, though. This one's 29 to 31.
Oh.
29 minutes to 31 minutes.
No. You just played that.
What?
You just played that one.
Okay.
You're supposed to be going. You're supposed to be going to 43:22.
You got one that's 40, 42. You got one that's 40 and 18 seconds for 42 and 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, let's go there. 40:18. That's right.
All right.
politicians or who are anti-LGBTQIA plus communities, who are anti-Black. I will always do that as a non-binary person. I will always trigger that for them. So you have to know that. Don't get frustrated with it. Hopefully they'll come around.
Love it. Yeah,
Man,
definitely.
what?
Absolutely.
And then as I said, when I was listening to your project this morning, I thought more of that. I was like, I don't know what's going on in the universe. I don't know what the universe is trying to tell us.
Yes.
But it's like, you really, like, women are really leading in a real way right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, being non-binary and still being able to like see myself in everything that Black women are doing. I mean, they are killing it. I was listening to a Spotify playlist when I was working on my album called "Feeling Myself," and that's all like women rapping. And I think what you guys are experiencing a revolution right now of and also like a resistance against division. Like, we are not being divided. The same people that would try to divide the Janelle Monáe in the suit up against, another artist,
A Cardi or a Meg or whoever.
Yeah. And those are all women that I love and I respect and appreciate. But you have to understand, for years, like, even it's the whole conversation of Lauryn Hill versus Little Kim. I'm sure you guys were out. I love them both. But and I think they were strong. They were strong in all their ways. But there were definitely times where I felt like, people would not understand that they were strong within their own rights, and they would use Lauren's image to degrade Lil' Kim's image. Right. And I never liked that. Growing up, I saw that, and I was like, that's not cool. Like, I love both of them. I think they're both strong. They're using, their power in different ways, but they're saying the same thing.
It's just all different expressions of the divine feminine.
Yeah.
That's literally all it is.
And that's what we are in. And it made me feel like, oh, this is my.
He said so at the beginning, I don't know if you heard it, they were talking about how it's a woman revolution. And me and my husband talk about this a lot, but you can see it in a lot of ways. Like, if you ever watched hip hop used to be a male dominated thing. Now there's females dominating like the hip hop era. If you look around, especially Black women, you see Black women in politics, you see Black women in power, just power positions of power. You see Black women, I think we lead the workforce and education. And we're just leaders in general. We've been put on a pedestal way above the man in most cases. And that's what he was talking about. Even Charlamagne said, it's just a part of I think he said the divine woman. Did y'all catch what he said? The divine woman, heavenly something. He said the divine woman power or something like that. I don't know what that was, but that's what he called it, the divine woman power. You heard that?
I just said the power, like different times, power.
Yeah, but he was saying the divine feminine power. That's what he was saying. And he was like, yeah, we're seeing just women leading everywhere. And she was like, Black women doing their thing. Let's go to which is also a sign of the times, but let's go to Isaiah 3:11 and 12.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 11. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. For as my people, children are their oppressed, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths.
Right. So that's what I want you to pay attention to. It says, as for my people. So we know that we are his people. And it says, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. Oh, my people, they that lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of their paths. So this is letting you know right now that women are going to come into position of power, especially in Israel. And it says those that lead you are going to cause you to err. Why? Why would women leaders cause you to err? Just for the reasons that she's illustrated over and over again. Because she keeps saying things like, oh, I don't worry about nothing but how it makes me feel. How do I feel about the situation? Does it make me feel good? Am I satisfied? Because I only have to answer to me. It's only about me. It's only about my wants. It's only about my desires. And she's saying things like, follow me, come follow me to freedom, follow me to this. And not only is it an example, and not only is she enticing other women, but also the men, because she's an attractive woman on top of it. And so they're all feeding into everything she's saying too. Like, yeah, sure. She's not even saying she wants them. She's saying she want other women, and they still like, yeah, how did you become this? How did you get here? And they're still like feeding into this. So that's why he says, my people, these women are going to be leaders, and they're going to cause you to err. And that's what happens, because women tend to fall into their emotions, and they stop thinking about, just because it feels good doesn't mean it's good for me. Like you mentioned earlier, especially a woman that's in the world. And you know it's going to be a woman that's in the world, because a woman that's in the line with God knows that she's not supposed to lead him in the first place. So the only women that's going to be in these positions of power are women that are really worldly minded. And a woman that's worldly minded and a leader is not going to end up in a good place, because she already out of line with the Most High.
Yeah.
So that's why that Bible verse it was really profound when I seen that, and they started talking about the women revolution and women leading, and I started thinking about everything that's happening around us and all these Black women that's taking power. And of all the women to be in these positions of power, you wouldn't think it'd be us, the ones that's been oppressed and everything, but we're the ones that's being raised up. We're the ones that's been taken in these positions of power, and it's prophetic.
Yeah.
Did you have something to add?
No.
One more clip.
All right, before we go there though, let's go to no, we'll go ahead to the video. Let's go to the
43 minutes, 42 seconds.
Yep. Watch her pull him in even further. Watch her control the room even more. This is the last clip of this one.
This is a safe space for you. So whenever you want to come, we love you and appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. And happy Pride.
That's right.
I must say. And let me ask y'all a question. How are you guys showing up for, as allies for the LGBTQI plus community?
If you listen to this show every day, you would know why.
They call us husbands.
They call us husbands, gay husbands.
Gay husbands.
I love it. Husbands. I love to hear
this
it.
show every day.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yes, you would know.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's good. I love it. Husbands. That's really cute. I love it.
They tell us we're pushing an agenda.
Ooh.
All the time.
That's what they tell us.
Ooh.
Did you see that?
Wow.
Husbands. Gay husbands. Like I said, it wasn't enough for them to be there. It wasn't enough for them to have her on the platform. They'd have been talking to her this whole time. They haven't attacked her once. But then she even went further and say, so what are you guys doing to help our agenda? What are you doing for a lesbian gay community? Was this not enough? Was them not having you on there in this conversation? Was that not enough? No, she needed more. And that's what I'm saying, is getting to a point where you have to participate or you're a problem. And she let them know that right there. Like, so what else are y'all doing? What else are y'all doing to help your allies? And these two men who are leading houses, who have wives at home, said, They call us husbands, gay husbands, and they laughed and they smiled and they were excited to share it with the world.
Wow.
Right. And did you hear what she said? It goes back to what you said earlier. She said, "Oh, that's good. That's good. I love to hear it."
Yeah.
Right. That's cute. That's good. And what world is that good? And what world that we have men saying things like that is that good?
And like they mentioned, they're pushing the agenda everywhere. So they just pushing for most people to see like, wow, so this is acceptable now. Everybody is just accepting the LGBTQ. So they just make it like it's not a big deal anymore because everywhere they'll be talking about it everywhere. So it's just like they give the vibe of welcoming, like it's welcoming anytime to talk about stuff like that.
Right. And it's so open. You know, like back in the day, Black men would have never said something like that about themselves. They said that happily in front of the world. They had no problem. They weren't ashamed. They weren't none of that. And that just tells you how far we've come.
Maybe they're part of them.
It seems like it. It definitely seems like it. So yeah, I definitely want to see how she was able to control them and pull them even deeper into her sin. And that was amazing to me. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 9 and 10. Mm-hmm. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 9 and 10.
First Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that unrighteousness shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, or covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God.
So it's saying, don't be deceived. Don't let these people lie to you. Don't sit there and fall for her lie and her manipulation like those men did. Oh yeah, that's good. That's what she said. That's cute. No, none of it was cute. None of it was good. All of it was wrong. Yeah. And so we can't get caught up in what these people are saying and what they're trying to feed us and the agenda that is being pushed. It's wrong. It's evil. And so we don't want to be deceived because none of that is going to make it into the kingdom of heaven. And there was something else I wanted to touch on that you said a while back. Go to Ephesians chapter 1, verse 13. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 13. Actually, Leah, hold that. Go to Isaiah 5, 20 and 21, because I also want to touch this. I think you spoke on this earlier, sis, because she kept calling that good. She kept calling good. She said this was good, and she said something else was good earlier that we spoke about that was nothing good was a part of it. So I do want to touch that Bible verse as well. Because that is a characteristic of people in the last days, calling good for evil and evil for good. Get away from me. Isaiah 5, 20 through 21. Read it, Leah.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil,
that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes, the prudent in their own sight.
Right. So that's what you talked about earlier. Woe unto them that call good evil and evil good. Woe to them that call bitter sweet. And so that's another thing that we're going to run into more at these times, at these last days. There's going to be more people doing that, more people calling evil good. Mm-hmm. And she did that multiple times in this video. Now, Reed, I want you to watch this next news, this last one. It's really short, but this is just going to give you another glimpse into what we're dealing with.
Right. You know, I feel all of my energy. I feel like God is so much solely, or, you know, I feel all of my energy. I feel like God is so much bigger than the he or the she. It's like, it's like something, and if I am from God, I am everything. I am everything, but I will always stand with women. I will always stand with Black women, but I just see everything that I am beyond the binary. When I see people, I see your energy first. I don't see like how you identify. Totally. And I feel like that opens you up to fall in love with whomever. With any beautiful spirit.
Yeah. Yes.
Janelle Monáe.
I know, telling her
Always.
truth.
Just-
I know. It's amazing. I love the fact that she brought that up, and she's
So again, so there is where she's announcing that she's non-binary. She's neither male nor female. And then she brings it back to God again. She tries to have in a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. She says, well, if I think God is bigger than male or female, like, and if I'm made of God, then I'm everything. I'm everything like God. But first of all of that was a lie, because God says, he said he's made man in his image, and we know he made Adam first, and then we came from Adam. Second of all, we know that Jesus said, my Father in heaven. So he clearly has a gender. Clearly he has a gender, first of all. And then second of all, to even put yourself on the level of God, to say, well, if I made it, I'm everything like him. I'm not just male or female, I'm everything. All of that was just a whole lie that she just spilled. And then people got right behind her again. The women at the table.
They just talk like children. Right. Yes. That's good.
Right. Right. Like she said something so profound, and it was
like,
it was a mess.
That's the truth, girl.
Wow.
Let's go to Ephesians 1:13.
Ephesians.
You spoke on this too, sis. Go ahead.
Ephesians chapter 1, verse 15. In whom ye also trusted, after that ye heard the word of the truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom after that ye believed, ye were sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise.
No.
13, right?
1 verse 13?
Yes. That's what I just read.
I had a bunch of
Yeah.
1, and then it goes down to 12. And that's 13.
Jay, what do you have up there?
He also trusted after that.
That's what I read.
Yeah, it's supposed to talk about grace. Grace was removed from us in our sins. We are children by wrath, by nature as other, but grace has saved us.
You might have the wrong scripture.
I might have the wrong scripture written down. When that happens.
This is Grace Through Faith, chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Is it 2 and 13?
But now in Jesus Christ, ye who sometimes were far off and made nigh by the blood of Christ.
You just trying to. Okay, we're gonna have to miss that scripture because apparently I wrote it down wrong. And no, it was Ephesians. Was it 4? 13? It talks about us being, that's where I wanted to go back where she was talking about grace and how we have to give each other grace, but that scripture talks about we were children by wrath, but the grace has saved us. That we were children of wrath by nature, but God's grace has saved us. Okay, it's verse 2. So go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1. And you have quickened who were dead in trespass and sins, wherein time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of this air, the spirit that now walketh in the children of disobedience.
So let's stop right there. It says that we are in time past walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So basically saying we all walked in that at one point of our lives, right? We all walked according to the principalities of the air. Go ahead.
Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past, the lusts of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature of children of wrath, even as others.
Right? So I don't want to judge her too harshly because I've been where she was, right? I've been walking in my flesh. I've been walking in my desires. I've been where it was, but I realized it. And that's the problem. She hasn't realized. She's accepted and she's embraced saying, I'm just going to be free. I'm just going to do what I want, and not realizing that she's walking in her lust. She's walking in her desires. And that's not a place that we want to stay. We've all been there, but we don't want to stay there. Go ahead.
But God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love, wherewith he loveth, even when we were dead in sins, have quickened us together with Christ. By grace we are saved.
Right. So it says, but with God's mercy and love, he hath quickened our spirits and he's brought us back to him. So by his grace we are saved. And you heard her speak of grace in the negative connotation earlier. She was saying, oh, well, people haven't evolved like us. They're not evolved to embrace their freedom like us. So we got to give them grace. We got to give them grace and time to evolve and to come join us over here and just be free and do whatever they want to do. But that's not the type of grace that we're supposed to have. We are supposed to have grace for each other, but that's for the grace of God to come and save us. Come and save us from walking in our sins. Come and save us from walking after the desires of our lusts. That's the grace and mercy of God that we're looking for. And you mentioned that earlier, sis, that God, we need that type of grace from God. We want to come out of this. We don't want to run to it. I think you muted yourself, sis.
There we go.
All right, talk now.
Huh?
Okay, were you trying to say something? You had muted yourself.
No, somebody called like 3 times. So I was trying to let him know I'm busy.
Oh, okay. Well, we are about done. So I just wanted to hit that because you mentioned grace earlier and how it was the grace of God that we need. And you were totally right, because we do have to give those people grace. We have to pray for them. We have to pray that God saves them like they saved us. So I didn't show this to just, be like, oh wow, she's so evil and she's so that. She was right about grace part, and we all thank God for the grace, because we were all once where she was. We were all working in our desires, and it's nothing but the grace of God that saved us. So let's just remember that, and let's remember to pray for those. And always, this was all out of love, and it was just to be a lesson to learn, to show our children, to not only read the words and be able to say, yeah, people are going to be blasphemers, people are going to be boasters, people are going to be lovers of themselves, people are going to be lovers of pleasure. But I just really wanted to let you see what it looked like in real time, how to recognize it. Because sometimes it's not blatant. Sometimes it looks like love. Sometimes it looks like freedom. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that that's a spirit that is, if it's not in the will of God, is not what we should be doing. So let's go to our conclusion. We're just going to read Ephesians 5, 1 through 11 to close out. Ephesians 5, 1 through 11.
Ephesians 5, 1 through 11. Be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love as Christ also have loved us, and have given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet smelling savor. But fornication and all the uncleanliness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints, neither filthiness or foolish talkings, nor jestings which are not convenient, not rather giving of thanks. For ye know that no whoredom, no whoremonger, or unclean person, or covetous man, who is an idolater, have any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God. Let no man deceive you with vain words. For become of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Be not ye therefore partakers with them, for ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord.
Right. Go ahead.
Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving that is acceptable unto the Lord. What did I tell you to stop? 11. Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
Right. So we were once those who walked in darkness, but now we are light. We must recognize these characteristics that displayed themselves when we had not light of the Lord, when we had not the light of the Lord, and hate and have no fellowship with them. In order to avoid them and those with them, we must be able to identify them. I pray that after this study, we will be diligent to uphold the standards of our Creator in all we do. So I really just wanted us to see and to know what these characteristics look like, and really spend the time to try to avoid them, in ourselves, to try not to display them ourselves, and to try to avoid people that are displaying them, because it says have no fellowship with them. So I can't listen to those songs anymore. I can't watch those videos. I can't have no fellowship with that spirit. You know what I mean? So it's very important to know what we're attaching ourselves to. And then literally, this is the last verse, Philippians 4 and 8, because I always want to end with something positive, what we need to do. So we know how to continue and move forward. And this is the last verse, Philippians 4 and 8. One of my favorite verses. Okay, so I'm waiting on my daughter to get to Philippians 4:8 because you can see the struggle is real. So we just have to give her the grace and be patient. She's teaching me patience right now to deal with.
I didn't even know what called Philemon.
So, sis, do you have anything to add before we close out? You have any thoughts, suggestions, anything?
Enough.
Okay, Philippians 4:8.
What? Philippians 4, verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. If there be anything any virtue, and if there be any praise, think of these things.
All praises to the Most High. So, right, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, those are the things that we want to surround ourselves with. We don't want to surround ourselves with all these examples that we've seen of children that are still stuck in darkness. We want to be children of light, and we want to be able to recognize the darkness and have no fellowship with it. And hopefully this lesson helped us see those characteristics, identify them, and avoid them. That's it.
Great.
It's the Sabbath now. Anything else, sis?
No, that was great though. Like they're starting like first day, and then I think it's gonna be good continuing.
Yes, Thursday.